Well, today we're going to take a little look at recommended daily allowances, dietary intake, where this comes from, and should you listen to it? The answer is no, not at all, and I'll explain here as we go through it. So the RDA allowances is something that we have in the United States. Every country out there has some variation, some form of it, because it is a UN New World Order-y kind of a thing. It's a recommended daily allowance, essentially to keep prisoners alive. And it says so right here. It doesn't make a secret of it. DRI system used by both the United States and Canada is intended for the general public, health professionals, but their applications include compositions of diets for schools, prisons, hospitals, or nursing homes. In other words, people that ain't doing a whole heck of a lot. It's the schools thing is like your school lunch just to give them something to put in their stomachs. But these people here are living in those conditions all the time. So it's the absolute minimum amount of stuff you have to feed somebody in order to keep them alive. And according to this, it's based around like a 44-year-old male. So unless you're a 44-year-old male, apparently it doesn't apply at all. We'll take a look at some of what they actually say that a person is supposed to have on a daily allowance. Now, anyone who's on a diet, please don't pay attention to this stuff. Talk to a holistic medicine guy, a naturopath, or a nutritionist or something to find out what good amounts of things are to eat in a day, because this ain't gonna cut it. It ain't gonna cut it at all. We'll look at the history here. The RDA was developed during World War II. Well, that's kind of odd, isn't it? World War II, huh? By 3 women, all part of a committee established by United States National Academy of Sciences in order to investigate issues of nutrition that might affect national defense. Really? What kind of issues of nutrition would affect national defense? The committee was renamed the Food and Nutrition Board in 1941, after which they began to deliberate on a set of recommendations of a standard allowance for each type of nutrient. For prisoners. That's what it's going to be. 1941. This is POWs. Rounding up all the Japanese people and throwing them in camps. This is what they had to feed the Japanese people. Right? I mean, why else would it be developed in 1941? Wasn't that what that was for? So that they could go with the Geneva Convention or whatever, the rules of war at the time. The standards would be used for nutrition recommendations for the armed forces. Right, this is what you have to feed your prisoners. Because the servicemen certainly aren't only eating the requirements that are listed below. I mean, they would not be able to fight. Soldiers in their meals ready to eat have something like 7,000 calories in them. I mean, a huge amount, because they're doing a lot of work. For civilians and overseas populations who might need food relief. Roberts, Steibling, and Mitchell surveyed the available data, created a 10% allowance for, they decided in their little committee how much nutrients you're supposed to get. The part in here I also wanted to point out was that the Food and Nutrition Board subsequently revised the RDAs every 5 to 10 years. Now, do people need less nutrients, more nutrients? Every 5 to 10 years, they decide that people need different stuff? Or is it based on the availability of food? And what food is available, they arbitrarily decide that that's going to be good enough? That's what that means to me, because it seems to me, they're not reformulating what kind of food to give to cattle and what kind of food to give to dogs. I'm pretty sure they figured out once what they needed to eat so the dog wouldn't get sick. And that's the formula that they keep. Why would you change it? In the early 1950s, United States Department of Agriculture nutritionists made a new set of guidelines that also included a number of servings for each food group in order to make it easier for people to receive their RDAs of each nutrient. How is that going to make it easier? Again, if you stuck to the serving sizes on these containers, you'd be dead, because you're not going to get enough stuff. Now, granted, morbid obesity is a problem in the States, but that has nothing to do with people trying to get their RDAs. That has to do with people eating Big Macs instead of real food. Period. So we'll go down here and look at their little graph of what their RDAs are. RDAs is this one right here. UL is the upper limit. And your upper limit is where you're supposed to get sick, right? Your upper limit. So we're going to take a look at a couple of vitamins, minerals here. Just a couple of them to point out and make a point of this. Now, vitamin D. Vitamin D essentially controls the breakdown of many, many minerals in your body. And vitamin D is produced by your body itself through photosynthesis with the sun. So you get sun on your skin and you produce vitamin D so you can break down stuff like calcium for your bones and for your blood cells. And calcium does a ton of stuff. So here they've got your RDA limit of micrograms. I don't know why they use this weird symbol. It's to make it look as impossible to decipher as it can be. But I think this is something like 6 times. It'd be your milligrams would be 6 times the microgram amount. So they're saying, we'll just say 100 vitamin D. Now, if you're sitting in the sun, you're going to get several million milligrams of vitamin D. If you're out on the beach for 4 or 5 hours or something like that, or out working in the yard. So that is many times your upper limit. So you're supposed to get sick from that. It's ridiculous. It's retarded. It makes no sense. And without vitamin D, you can't break down stuff like calcium and a lot of these other things. So they've got your painfully low limit. Now, what would be the purpose of their painfully low limit for vitamin D? Oh, that's right. The nursing home, the prisoners, the people in the concentration forced labor camps back in World War II. Yeah, that's the minimum amount they can give them, which they can accidentally get through their little window that they're required to have in the prison cell, right? Yes. So don't pay attention to this stuff. This stuff is prisoner nutrition. It's ridiculous. Okay, and we're going to look at calcium. 1,000 milligrams. This is what's in one supplement. Calcium supplement will be 1,000 milligrams and 500 IUs of vitamin D, which is going to be probably your RDA limit or upper limit to break down the calcium. You need it. Now, granted, your body is not going to absorb that much, but this is what they say is your limit. Now, we'll look at some foods here to see what it takes to get the calcium limit. Now remember, the upper limit is 2,500. So we'll go ahead and we'll look. We're at your self-nutrition data, your fact sheets, where they get their fact sheets off of different products. And this is from milk. Your standard calcium fortified milk. Why is it calcium fortified? Oh, right, because when they process the milk, they take all the good stuff out. Stuff it full of sugar and put some things back into it to make you think it's milk. And then they take all the good stuff and make cheese and other products out of it. So, but, it's better than nothing. We'll just take a look here. So, down here where our RDA, nice little fact sheet, we've got 50% of our daily allowance of calcium in one serving. So you drink 1 little cup of milk, 247 grams, I believe, is 1 cup. Yeah, it says unit conversion over here. I believe that is 1 cup. So you drink one of those little things they'd give you in a school cafeteria, and that's half of your intake for milk. Now, I don't know about you, but if you're at a house, you don't pour one of those little things of milk, you pour a glass of milk. So that's 100% of your calcium intake, according to the fact sheet in your RDAs. Do you think seriously that all of the bones in your body, you probably got 20 pounds of bones, at least 25 pounds in a body. You think that all of those bones can be sustained on a cup of milk? It's craziness. Well, we'll just say you've got your glass of milk in the morning, and then you're gonna have some cereal, and this has another 11% in your cereal. So you're already over your limit with a regular glass of milk and then what you put on your cereal just from breakfast. That's retarded. Absolutely ridiculous. And then you're going to go to work and you're going to go to McDonald's for lunch, and we'll have a Big Mac. So we can find a Big Mac in here. with all their garbage food. Every year is a Big Mac. And the Big Mac, I believe, is 25% of your calcium intake. So you're already with a glass of milk, some cereal, and the milk that goes on your cereal at 200%, almost 200% your daily limit. Just with a sandwich and some cereal and a glass of milk. And that isn't including anything else, okay? These are death allowances, people. Death allowances. It's ridiculous. And people get scared of supplements because when you look on the back of a good supplement, we'll take Tangy Tangerine. I take this stuff sometimes. You look at the back of the label and you notice what it says here. Vitamin A, 77,500 international units, 150% of your limit. Vitamin C, 1,000 milligrams, 1,600% of your daily limit, according to your RDAs. Vitamin D3, only 750 IUs, which is a tiny amount. Tiny amount. And again, if you're in a climate where it snows, you're going to be vitamin D deficient because you got bundled up in all your clothes. You're not getting any sunshine. And if you're not supplementing or you don't have a vitamin D lamp, like a lizard lamp or something, you're going to be deficient. And this is a huge problem. But 750 IUs is 187%. So that would mean if that's 187%, that your recommended intake is like 350 or 400 IUs, which is covered in one calcium tablet that will have 500 IUs of vitamin D. It's ridiculous. Vitamin E, 660%. Vitamin B1, 2,000%. Vitamin B2, 1,700%. B6, 1,500%. B12, 8,000%. Pantothenic acid, which I don't know what it is, 1,500%. And just a little tiny bit of calcium because this product doesn't really focus on that. But yeah, you know, I mean, people look at this stuff and get freaked out by it, but they're comparing it to RDAs, which is a prisoner diet. A prisoner diet. And people wonder why they're so sick all the time. Now, my girlfriend was recently, doesn't want to listen to my health advice on anything because she's in the medical profession field and listens to all the doctor's stuff. And she's got some problems. But she did go and get her vitamin D level checked, and she was absolutely critically low. Critically low in vitamin D. And you know what the actual MD doctor prescribed her? 50,000 IUs of vitamin D. 50,000 times. Now, that's way above your upper limit, right? But the medical doctor does it, so it's okay. And guess what? She feels a lot better. And she's got bone problems and some other things too that are related to vitamin D deficiency. If you're chronically low on vitamin D, you're going to have bone and joint problems. That's just how it is. And if you live in the north and you're not aware of that and taking supplements, you're going to end up with bone and joint problems. You're probably going to have stomach problems as well, because calcium plays a big role in your acidity of your stomach, digestion, and overall cell health, because calcium makes up part of your cell, and that it causes problems to not have the calcium. So here's a big one. Without the vitamin D, which they say is laughably, this is completely deficient in vitamin D, according to their stuff, you're going to have all kinds of problems. It's just how it is. You know, like if you can't take in calcium without the vitamin D, you're going to have dramatic issues with your health. Even some cancer problems, because calcium is related to your blood health and keeping the pH balance of your body correct. And you know, I don't know why they're spending all sorts of money finding cures for cancer and all this stuff when they know what causes it. And the guy Otto Warburg in the 50s, he found what causes cancer. He says that, you know, cancer starts when your body becomes acidic. A healthy body is alkaline. So naturally, if you have a cancer problem, you want to get your body alkaline. And calcium plays a huge factor in that. And you can test that, by the way, just with some ordinary pH paper. You probably get it at a pet store or something. Walgreens might sell something like that, but typically people are only testing the pH environment of what their fish are swimming in. But so that's where you get something like that. But this is all related back to vitamin D and calcium. Just two little things we take a look at off the RDAs. And like vitamin C, their unit, they say that you only need 90 milligrams of vitamin C. You can't buy a vitamin C supplement that is only 90 milligrams. It's not possible. The lowest I've ever seen is 300, right? Your upper limit of 2,000 milligrams. The point is with vitamins and minerals, though, is that they're not going to kill you. If you got some problems, you can take a whole bunch of vitamin D. If you're sick, you can take a bunch of vitamin C. You probably don't want to continue on with it, though, or if you start having stomach aches and things like that, then you cut back. It's not going to hurt you, though. You go to the MD, and their recommendation is going to either be to give you a prescription to minimize your pain, or try and cut something out of you, which might cause some other problems for you. So it all relates back to this nutrition thing in this RDAs, which is a total crock. Just pointing out the two there and where this comes from. And if you're not in a prison somewhere, or you're not in a nursing home somewhere, don't pay attention to the RDAs. And the other big thing is with these RDAs are based on, according to this, a 40-year-old guy or something. Does that mean that everybody has the same nutritional requirements as a 40-year-old guy? No, it doesn't. Yeah, 44-year-old male. Give me a break. And I'm sure they have different charts for different people, but this one's laughable enough that I don't need to go into every age bracket. And with that, I think I'm going to be out of here. As I said, you're going to be on a diet or something, don't pay any attention to your recommended dietary daily intakes. Talk to a nutritionist or a naturopath person to get you on the right track. And if you're in the north, take some vitamin D supplements. And, the little pills are okay, but you really don't absorb them as well as, some type of a lamp or something like that that'll give you vitamin D. Just how it is. So with that, I think we're going to be out of here.